If only it would work at home. Okay, we're going live. Everyone be quiet. Then they start.
Oh no, I'm good. Right here.
She doesn't want you to sit up. No one will be leaning on this table but me. I put this on today. I thought it's. I think it's not cotton. No, I was doing fine. Then I started going to the gym, and I'm like, went to the gym. It is not. It is not muscle. It is snacks. That's what I call muscle. No. Oh, do you have the gavel?
You have to know the fun of all of this now.
You don't need. You think your voice carries?
You want this?
Your voice carries. You're good.
Oh, maybe it carries.
Yeah, because when I was just replace the whole thing.
This has a.
That's the original stage.
Bring my parka.
Oh,
That's how we stay awake.
probably our monthly or our yearly, whatever it has everybody to.
Yeah. Right here. Match what's went out and display. Oh, good. Oh, yeah, they were just replacing. I'm actually gonna.
Thank you.
Have the. I know you guys didn't print it because you didn't. Here's our somewhat of a timeline.
I got digital.
Did you want digital or do you want a piece of paper on the
Oh
proposed timeline?
no.
Nothing is like
This is
has
record.
to be.
This is record. This is set in stone. Right?
No, it's just kind of a course thing. You want to know
Is that the menu?
Well, it's kind of. There's no discount on it though.
It's gonna cost us. Dang.
Yeah.
I was hoping for
Oh, you want copies?
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh no, Tiff just asked if we wanted it. I was just.
Or is that gonna be
They said it.
like
She wanted
Maybe. You may get appetizers or hors d'oeuvres. I don't know.
not the kind of one?
Who's leading these?
Who's leading all the topics?
Yeah, especially starting out this morning.
Typically I run out the gate. Are you shocked by that, Councilman?
I seem to recall that from last year, but just making sure nothing's changed.
No.
Not everybody's in the same seats anymore.
Well-
Nobody's doing the same things anymore.
Yes, I would sit there, but then I don't have power. And now with this thing, I have to project. So that's why I'm here.
Technically ready?
I'm ready when you are.
In order. Please take the roll.
Councilman Harjo,
Present.
Councilwoman Workala,
Present.
Councilman McCarthy,
Present.
Councilman Sanders,
Present.
Mayor Sykes.
My understanding is the mayor will be joining us later this morning. Council members, at this time, I'm going to suspend the speaking order, leaving it as an open forum for council members. And with the suggested day one, I'll turn it over to Tiffany. Start us down the road.
Good morning, Council. Thank you. First of all, we put a little bit of a timeline together last minute yesterday in that shared folder to kind of help justify some of the maybe large item requests for operational needs within the city budget this year. This by no means is set in stone. I know some are only at a half hour or 45 minutes. Some budgets don't have hardly any requests, as you guys are very much aware of. So typically we start off the gate, kind of any general questions that we can answer on how we function or operate. Like Councilman McCarthy, Councilman Sanders, you're new, but you guys have very much been in the audience before. And then we typically dive into our salary discussions to ensure that we know what we recognize the people that are doing majority of the work every day to keep our city functioning. And then we break into each department. I kind of organize them like I discussed a little bit last night when we talked. The grant program, I think we have some questions specifically, knowing kind of the direction you guys have all spoke. We've picked that up. So we'd like to kind of encompass a little discussion on that and then move into some of the individual departments. And at that time, the department head will come up as well and speak on their proposed budget that they've put together. I did kind of go in order. Like I said, on community development, Hank hardly had any requests. Then we go into public safety and then some quality of life initiatives. And then hopefully we can get through today and move into the topic of golf tomorrow, first thing in the morning, which we know will be probably pretty lengthy. And then we'll jump into the administration and sanitation, which again doesn't have a lot of requests. That's a budget I share with you all and the mayor in general operations. So there's some big questions in that budget that you guys have to answer. And we kind of provided some memos on that and what direction you all want in the admin budget. And then we go into the infrastructure and public utility side at the end of day 2. And then we have a presentation by our financial advisor, Clearwater, that will come in and talk about some rate stuff and policy implementation that we probably need to look to doing in the next several weeks and months to come. So, and then we'll probably roll into Monday, as we mentioned yesterday, and finalize and make sure we are all in the same agreement. So with that, if you all want adjustments to the schedule or you have specific questions out the gate, Paula and I will do our best to answer what we can, or the other departments.
Paul, I have one, just to get me started. Can you give me the bottom line number projected revenues for next year, total?
All of the departments together? Do you want the property tax into it or just the revenue? Because there's cash carryover and then revenue that you can fees and then there's property tax. I never worked.
If we're going to be looking at the total available funds, what's the total projected revenue?
I have a
These.
yesterday we did get, I'll add it in, we got notified, at 100,000 additional revenue is becoming kind of a power. You just have to request it, show it in our budget publication. It was a 2-year program. We didn't get the notification of last year, that after we published. And so I contacted them yesterday and they're gonna help me earmark that in our publications, but we did it this year. It's only a 2-year. We can do it. I'll add that in there and I'll just put Idaho Power.
Just sometime today.
Okay.
Just like to
sometime
see
today.
what the big number is.
Come on, do it right now.
No questions, no order adjustments.
Let's roll.
We trust you, Tiff.
Okay, best of luck. No, I'm just kidding. I'm glad everyone knows my humor here. Before we jump into salaries, do keep in mind that we thank you for reaching out to us and understanding the department's needs and our requests to keep our community moving forward as you did that. And then we are very conservative in how we approached it, and the requests are probably a needed item, not just a Santa really, really want it. So as we move forward, thank you. We'll jump right into salaries. Daniel, my friend, I'll hop us on the screen here. Yes, sir. I have to figure out what I'm doing. My screen. Can everyone see? Switch to present. I know, right? So many toggles. Is it good?
Infinite.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Just takes like it starts like a weird set. Okay.
Inception.
I'm gonna let Daniel lead most of the way. He's we run off a comp ratio schedule for our pay structure, but he'll lead it and then I'll kind of chime in so you don't hear me talk the whole time. So go ahead, Daniel.
Okay, so council, thank you for letting me come up for a few minutes. Just wanted to do a quick slideshow. I know Councilman Harjo, Councilwoman Workla, you saw this last year, but I wanted to give the new council members kind of a background of our pay history here. So the next slide. So just a few terms that we'll throw out, while we're talking today. Comp ratio, which is a comparative ratio. That just means it's going to show the wage comparative to the market rate. Market adjustment, that's any changes in wage due to the labor market itself. That excludes any outside factors, just the cost of paying a police officer. And then cost of living adjustments, which are adjustments used to counteract the outside influences, so inflation, stuff like that.
Any questions so far? Okay.
Just to give you a little history, we started using the comp ratio back in 2016. We used to have a step and grade system. In 2016, we started using this comp ratio. It's really beneficial because it helps the internal equity, and then it also allows us to be competitive externally in the market. Okay.
Daniel,
Sir.
in your comp ratio, is it strictly salary or does it include benefits?
Strictly salary.
Thank you.
And then I just threw a quick kind of an example so you could see the comp ratio in action. For this example, I used a water operator. That's a grade 7 on our chart. The market for a grade 7 is $23.99. The minimum currently $20.44. The maximum $28.78. So if we have a newer kind of a less experienced employee in this position, they're making a little bit less. They're at $20.98, for example. To get their comp ratio, we're just going to divide that by the market, and then we see they're at 87.4%, which means they're a little bit further away, which is expected because they're a new person. More seasoned employee, for example, they're making $25.48. We divide that by their market, and they're actually over market, right? So they're 106.2%. So this is our current comp ratio scale. You can see at 86,
This little area.
yeah, from 86 to 89.9%. If that's where the comp ratio percentage lands, that employee would receive a 3% increase. The goal, we're trying to get them to market, so we increase them a little bit more each year. The employee that is already over market, we don't want to deny them and say you don't get a raise this year because you're over market. They have a lot of institutional knowledge. We want to keep them and retain them, but at the same time, we're not going to give them the same 3%. So it scales down to a 1% increase for that employee.
Questions?
Okay, so this is the part, so what we do the recommendations now. The comp ratio scale, we didn't make any changes at all this year. We feel that it's worked really well these past 10 years. It's keeps us competitive with the market. So we haven't done any changes. We did last year. Councilman Harter, Councilwoman Workla, you remember we finished stretching out that scale to give a little more runway for the employees. So,
Daniel?
Sir.
What's the city's expectation for a new employee to get to 100%? How much time? Is it based on time? Is it based on merit? If you start out with a comp ratio, say of 80, you want to get them to 100.
So
you want to do that quickly.
Yeah.
This suggests you give them a greater increase early on, but is it stepped or is it?
There's no merit involved. So it's all
So it's on time,
length of service. Yeah.
not necessarily competence.
Correct.
Okay.
Daniel, what's the typical length of service for going up to that step? I would say that you're in the back of the comp ratio. How does that all, is it like a yearly or is it a 6 month? How is that determination?
We would do this annually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Based on your approval. We do them annually based off your guys' approval of the increase. So if, for instance, this year you say no to what we're going to propose, then everyone stays status quo of what today is.
Or if you adjust.
Get to market?
Roughly 4 is the goal.
Well, it can be in the second part, yes, but just what's the criteria? If you said it's not off of merit, is it strictly just the length of time and Tiffany set every year? So.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And other factors fall into that. Like, for instance, if I'm hired at a 7 and somewhere in the in 2 years I promote to a grade 9 and move somewhere within the city, there's some factor in I might not now get to market in that 4-year maybe estimate window. It may take me 6 because I've made some shuffles along the way to move up.
Also made a shift in grade, which
Absolutely.
indicates a change of responsibilities and.
Well, and there's another formula in that grade progression up in a promotional scenario. So
Fill me in. How does comp ratio factor in when we use incentives that increase the hourly rate?
incentives meaning the certificate pay. Is that your question?
If the certificate pay is not based upon a flat amount, so I've seen some that have come through that have increased the hourly rate of the employee. Is that factored in the comp ratio when the calculation comes up next year?
No, that goes on top.
Okay.
And sorry, Councilman.
No, I was just curious if we can go back to the certificate pay. I know Councilman Sanders has some information. I guess can we give a little overview of what the certificate pay
Sure.
is?
So we have incentive pay for the police officers. There's 5 different levels of post-certification. If they get that first level, then they get an extra 50 cents an hour.
Right.
The next one goes up a quarter, so they would get a 75 cents per hour. We also have post-instructor certification. There's general instructor, which is then they would get an extra $100 a month. And then if they're advanced high liability instructors, they get an extra $200 a month. Public Works also has licensure pay. So if they have, there's water, wastewater collection and wastewater treatment. There's 3 different levels for each of those, and so they get certification pay for those also.
So essentially, does like streets have it for, say, road scholar or anything like that? Or-
No, the streets does not have it.
So what?
These are
departments-
strictly like they have to be licensed
Licensed.
through the state of Idaho for these.
So you said police, Daniel, public works, what other?
Just water and
Just
wastewater.
Water,
police, yeah, police department, water, wastewater.
Okay, so this isn't a broad,
No.
like, okay,
No.
perfect. Thank you for the clarification.
And just so we can speak a little bit on how we've come to that certification incentive is, if we hire you and you have to be in job, I'm going to just take water for instance. You have to be in job for so long before you can even go test.
Right.
Okay, so you're in job, but then now you've got your water one. Let's say you're doing your job duties and what's assigned. But we want you to want to progress within our department. And we saw stagnant in the city where we had a lot of number one water operators, but nobody wanted to go take number two because there was nothing incentivizing you to go get it to benefit the city of Mountain Home, if that makes sense. And it takes years of service now to even test for the two. So you may have to be in service for 3 years to even test for two in our operating system. And so we were trying, as the HR department and working with the department heads, is how do we want you to want to go and get more certifications to benefit us later down the road as the municipality. And so that's why we came to, okay, well, we can do these one-off and send certificate pays for these departments rather than just doing it within their hourly wage. And so yesterday when we were speaking with Councilman Sanders regarding some of the payroll change forms is they're put in as a different pay code. They're not just in their general regular salary. They're in as a certificate pay that we can track that number in, if that makes sense.
No, so I just wanted to make sure though, it's just only police, water and wastewater.
Yes.
This isn't a broad,
No.
General.
No, we do a one-time payment if you go and obtain a certificate as like, for instance, Cody in the building department went and got his building inspector license this last week. He gets a one-time compensation pay for obtaining that cert, but that's just a one-time. And we offer that for multiple facets, but they're one-offs.
Okay, so there is a one-off, not
Yeah.
just the certificate pay is an actual on top of the salary
Correct.
versus you have one-offs for certain
Yeah.
education or training.
Correct. Yep.
I think it's important to recognize in the department, they gave up a position to pay for the compensation. They lost the staff.
Do you know when, was that just recent or?
No.
Was it a while back? Okay.
4 years. Yeah, I want.
This is when Chief Thompson was here.
Okay, I just wanted, because I know we have some vacancies, so I didn't know if this was something new this year, so. Okay.
No, it was several years ago. That was to recognize, again, the education value that they bring in. Their trainings was, we could reduce a staff member administratively within the department, the troops would like that, so.
And real quick, counsel for you, Tiffany, would you mind going back to the comp ratio scale?
Oh,
The
man.
police, the grade 11 police officers
This
have
one?
they're on a separate comp ratio scale, which is a little more aggressive at that top end. So if they're 86 to 89%, 89.9%, their increase is 5%.
I think in
That's
your,
a retention thing that we've had.
Hmm.
No, we wanted to get those police officers to market a little more quickly than.
and that was implemented at the very beginning of comp ratio. We had a different scale for the police officers because we were a revolving door and training site for law enforcement in 2016. And so now we actually are very competitive in our law enforcement agency, and so we don't quite see industry. They want action is what I hear. So they tend to leave us to go to places that have a little bit more action than we do. But that percentage base has always been as part of the comp ratio for the law enforcement side. And it is identified in your budget book on that kinds and levels chart. So, sorry.
Okay, so recommendations for compensation for this year. Past councils have done a really good job in the past, 3 years getting us back caught up. We got a little bit behind the market. When I compare us to Jerome, Ammon, Chubbuck, Burley, Twin Falls, McCall, we're currently on aggregate about 2% lower than these other cities, which is good. It's when we kind of started doing this aggressive catch up, we were like 12% behind. We were quite a ways behind the market curve. So we feel we're in a good place. We're competitive with these other towns, and so I want to thank previous councils for getting us here. And we would like to see a market adjustment increase of 2.5% this year, just to keep us kind of in line with everybody else.
And then to compare to some of the cities, like obviously McCall population is much smaller than our population, but they have a library, or they have a department that other cities that we compare to might not have, right? And so we have to kind of, I know Councilman McCarthy, this is your kind of wheelhouse, is human resources a little bit. So we have to take multiple facets and then multiple jobs, because not everybody offers a street department, right? So we're comparing multiple agencies and making sure that balance administratively, street department, water, library, that we're all within that kind of 2-ish% or where we stand. So that's kind of why we pick those. They do the same back to us. So questions? No?
Daniel, do we have so appreciate the 2.5% info. Do we have a figure on that, what that cost is going to be across the board? Like a total?
Not on its own, because we have the 2.5% here.
Mm-hmm.
The next side,
Okay.
we have a cost of living.
Okay.
When I put this slide together 3 weeks ago, Social Security hasn't announced theirs cost of living yet. They do that in October, but there are sites out there, AARP, the Senior Citizens League, that they make estimations. When I did this up, it was at 2.8%. I checked, like, I think Thursday or Friday last week, it had gone up to 3.8%. I think 2.5 is a good increase, just because there is a lot of volatility. It's up to 3.8% now, but in 5 months it could be back down to 2%. So I think 2.5% is fair, and so sir, those two would be combined, so it would be 5%.
5%, right? Yep.
This is the proposed scale. So that's our chart with all of our grades, the minimum, market, maximum. You can see on the chart on the right, we have our comp ratio, our market COLA, and then like I was saying, on the bottom part down there, that's the police officers, where you can see that their increase is a little more aggressive at the top end of that scale. Like I said, there was no changes in the salary schedule itself, other than the market change that gets made. So, questions on that? Okay, so kind of just to wrap it up, we have a really good team, great employees. They work hard. They care about this town. We can give them all the newest cars, the newest software, the newest, greatest, things to make the city work, but it doesn't work without them. So I, at the end, I think this is a fair compensation for them, and
Yeah. Um, I there are assets, right? And so we've worked hard, thanks to you guys, to get us caught up to market to be competitive and want to retain our employees and provide competitive offers for new employees. Um, it is a volatile working environment, and we have jobs that nobody even applies for. So I, I appreciate, and I think the entire room and all the other departments and the staff truly appreciate the leaps and bounds and the value that the prior council, and I know you guys will take into the staffing structures to ensure that. So we do have a few open positions. I think we've shared some salary worksheets with people, and we've dropped it in the shared drive too. So some departments do have open positions. Some is due to like recent people exiting departments, or for instance, you all know the fire department, like Brian Reed, our fire marshal, retired at late December, but then Chief Moore also was planning retirement. So we're holding off for that new chief to then be able to select the marshal. So some of those openings are the reasonings why they are vacant, which I assume you all very much know what our madness may be there. And then we are requesting in this year's budget proposal, which I think you guys have all saw, is the airport to run to a full-time employee at the airport rather than a manager scenario based on your guys' approval. The golf pro, golf manager scenario, that's one. And the library's asking for another body as well. Is that the three? Yes. The other thing in the schema of change is the maintenance employee that we picked up in last year's operating budget. That person has since left the city on their own, and we haven't filled that position because internally as staff, we weren't, not that it wasn't valuable, but it also was like, we were still contracting out the work per se to a electrician, so to speak. So we're kind of volleying that back to you guys if you still want that person on salary, or if we want to remove that salary person completely out of the schema. So what else was there? I think that's
kind of tangential to the salary stuff. The benefits, none of the benefits have changed. We don't know the regents share yet. We're meeting with our broker on Friday, and hopefully she's going to have some numbers for us. But those costs haven't increased in the past 2 years, so part of me thinks that we're due for an increase in rates. Part of me says we're on a roll, and let's go one more year with no rate increase. So.
And then to speak on the benefits, so Regents Blue Shield, the package we have with them, the Innova plan, Regents is no longer allowing that plan within them. We had, at some point, we have to get off that plan with Regents Blue Shield. Unfortunately, that notice was coming early in 26 that we were going to have to leave by the end of the year. Regents saw a lot of customers bail out. And so at that point, Regents has kind of come back to the table of, hey, this may be a bad move on our part. So our broker's kind of leaning that we probably will not have any changes, but we have been with Regents since 08. And they've treated the city very well. We've seen some upticks in rates, and we've seen some years where we don't get any, or like Daniel just said, several years where we haven't had anything. We're experience-based on our insurance. So we're probably aggressively going to have to look to shop. We have been as staff looking, but that's a heavy lift, and that's 130 people's benefit package that they have to now get to know a little bit better. And that we don't take lightly. Like, we help people every day try to figure out their benefit package, and so we want to make sure to the people that it's going to serve that it's going to pencil out right, and we're not going to be negotiating all the time. So that makes sense. Anything else?
Daniel, kind of touched on this a little bit, and then we were talking about the market adjustment and then COLA. So 5%, do we have specific numbers on what 5%, like a monetary like number of what that's going to be across the board? The bottom of that.
Thanks, Paula. Yeah, and again, the sheet she's talking about, that's in that shared folder that got sent to you. Like, we're dragging stuff into that, so.
Does everybody have access to that by chance? Right. And then you have to go back to the 26.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what I was curious, if we've taken the time, if the proposal is 5% between market adjustment and COLA, do we have have you done the math to figure out what that increase? Because again, I'm looking through the budget and I see the salaries has not been penciled out in some departments. So that's where I'm kind of like, I understand the sentiment and I hear that, but I'd like to see a figure of what that increase of 5% is going to be on it, like
Per department.
per department or just general and whole.
I think they did that when it's worksheet. That's just salary.
Okay.
Yeah. I have to do it that way.
Gotcha.
Well, we have the salary. I mean, I don't have it, but the salary sheet from last year's budget. You could just check the two.
I guess I would ask my other council members if they've have that sheet or if they've taken time or.
Is it the one that's titled current staff salaries? Is that one?
That's that would be this year's
And that
upcoming budget.
and that encompasses both
By 27.
both COLA and market.
Correct.
Plus fringe.
Yeah, the fringe is in there. The certifications, incentive pays, wellness, seasonals. Am I forgetting anything?
No.
Yeah, there's wellness benefit. Seasonal. And then breaks down and shows the open positions too,
Yes.
which I know I've talked to you about that before. So this is great that we have this info.
Yeah.
So it looks like at the end of the year, the total for the salaries and fringe for all departments, we're talking a little over $13 million.
We have one other thing we have to discuss.
Yeah, please.
But I don't want to, like, if there's any other questions, because I'm going to call up the police department.
Last year, because there's positions now that have been added into this year that weren't in their last year. Oh, it's overall, interesting. Employee.
Right, with airport manager and
Right.
library and all
So
that.
they're trying to like,
Yeah.
But to get a ballpark figure, it's still.
Yeah.
For sure.
You're red. Just
Turn
so
your
I
mic
get
on,
that.
Paula. Councilman Sanders' mic's catching
the
you.
police department was the one that's active.
Yeah. So, okay. And again, like some of those open positions, like the maintenance, like that was kind of a, if you will, a Councilman Harjo and a Councilman Brennan's like recommendation that we need with some staff help on that. And then now we're balling it back to like, do you guys still want that? So like, that's where we're at. But I'm going to call up Assistant Chief Dudley because the police department would like to recommend a shift differential. So we're going to let the mic turn over to him because he's got all the info.
Good morning, council.
Morning, Chief.
This year we're requesting a night shift differential. This is a pretty common practice among law enforcement agencies, and not even law enforcement agencies, but just some commercial businesses. We're one of the few agencies that doesn't offer it. The reason we're asking for it is because obviously night shift carries a heavy toll and burden on your life, your health, and all that stuff. Studies have shown that the effect on your sleep pattern can affect your health. You're missing time with family. Your sleep schedule is off from everyone else. Specifically in law enforcement, when you're on night shift, you may get off at 6 a.m. and you're subpoenaed to court at 9 o'clock in the morning. Your doctor's appointments, your general things you have to get to, and they're all during the day. You're supposed to be sleeping. So your sleep patterns are just extremely disruptive, and it's hard to stay on track. It's hard on your health, which obviously causes more stress. You miss holidays, birthdays, all those sorts of things. At other agencies, it's commonly 3 to 5%. We're requesting something a little more modest. We're requesting $1 an hour, just a flat $1. This shows that we're committed to our officers and their wellness. It's just another incentive for them to stay, incentive for them to work nights. We realize it's not going to fix the problem, but we think it's a good step in just incentivizing the night work and just adding a little benefit to it. You can't see it on the budget sheet. Our calculations show that it would add approximately $22,000 to the salary line. And on holidays, it was about $810 in the holiday line. If you calculate it out per officer, I mean, it's $12 a night worked per officer. I feel like that's a pretty modest number. And I think it would go a long way with our staff.
Questions?
What are your shift hours right now?
Our shifts are 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
And how many days on off?
So we use what's called a Panama schedule. So 1 week you work Monday, Tuesday, you're off Wednesday, Thursday, and then you work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The next week you would work the flip of that. So you would be off Monday, Tuesday, you would work Wednesday, Thursday, and then you would have off Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Now, I'm reflecting back to the last century when I wore a uniform. Shift I hated worst was rotating swings and mids.
Mm-hmm.
Worked in 3 different shifts.
Mm-hmm.
And we always got caught in the 24-hour break between swings and mids once a month with a training day. So I didn't hear you mention the actual break that comes in when you've got to go do quals or you've got to have certain certification training done, which is only going to get offered during the daytime. So I think your request is modest,
Yes.
but well represented.
Mm-hmm.
I personally would not be offended to double that request.
So, Tiffany, this is a first time request for myself. Are we able to come back to all this, take all this information in? Because usually we just, plow right through everything, and then I need a.
No.
Okay,
Woman
I
work
just
a
want to
lot.
be able to plug it in somewhere. I mean, you have your schedule and everything.
So-
and I need to be able to
Just to clarify, my hope is we all present as much as we can, learning from the past, right? Like that's clearly where I'm at, and like that's what I kind of told the group is, we're gonna come bring you everything we have, hoping you go digest it. We want full transparency. You guys understand everything that's on the tables in the next 2 days, and we'll come back on Monday and hopefully be able to make some actionable items where you say, yes, please proceed with the salaries at the 5%, the shift incentives, those things. Like we want clear direction and guidance from you all. And to the point of, we want to go as far as the internal, those department budget sheets you have in front of you. We want all your initials on them with the factual numbers instead of you coming to us in March of next year going, wait a minute, my sheet and my notes say this. We want you all to get eyes on them with the department head and ourselves and say, we all agree with these numbers that are being printed. Okay. So that's where we're at as a team
on Monday,
collectively.
kind of
Yeah.
like revisit everything.
Does everyone agree with that, team? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does that work for you all? I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Okay.
I appreciate the numbers. That's my biggest thing is, as Tiffany's pointed out, my wheelhouse is HR. And so that's something that constantly working with managers and that. And so when it comes to pay increases, it's always what's that actual number going to be? So I'm hoping that we get that number. I know we have budget sheets that don't have them there, but yeah, thank you for the 22,000 and then the 800 there. Shift differential is something that I'm familiar with. I definitely think it's something that is a great tool, especially when swing shifts, everything of that nature and that. So I'm not opposed to it. I have some more, sure I'll have some more questions, but yeah, I'm not necessarily opposed to it, so.
Worksheets come back to you on Monday, would it be helpful instead of trying to put your one sheet to another?
The salary.
Oh, the salaries.
Yeah.
I won't speak for everyone, but yeah, I would think.
I think it would be helpful.
I think any changes during these sessions? Ed?
Yeah, and just for clarity, and like Councilman McCarthy had a great question to me last week on the budget sheets you guys have before you, and why isn't salary included? Because it comes from our department, and those sheets went out to the department head, and the last thing we want is those guys plugging in some salary numbers for us, because that's not their wheelhouse, right? So we just want them to do their operational stuff and then bring us back there. We'll do the salary side on our end. So
No doctor. $1 million.
yeah, no, we've had that. Yeah.
Or the anger from one department to another.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. So just so you all know, and the public listening, like the reason those numbers aren't in there is because out to the staff. So
We've already got red in the books when we show we have a deficit. Can you make those changes? Can you pick some other color? A bright green or a purple, I don't care. Something that will not let me get confused with past history where we've got red in it.
No, but I like the cell.
Yes.
yeah.
I'll have cell yellow.
Bright yellow.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. These should be going to be shared as a Google, because I know you've sent them as Excel. So I was just curious, if you're making the changes, are you going to resend a sheet, or can we do a Google, Drive with the Google Drive to actually have a live document?
Yeah, she could send it to me and I could just dump it in this shared folder that we all have. Like it's to everybody now. If that does that work for everybody? Okay, cool.
And I forgot to bring this up in the beginning. Throw it up on the screen if necessary. Last year, I found it fairly beneficial to create a change log. What it looked like last year, and I kind of just flash it for you guys for the moment here, but really just trying to capture the date, the requester, department, the budget line that it affects, suggested change, description, estimated change if it has a financial impact.
I toggled you on her, Joe.
Thank you. 1 second. That will make it a little easier for us to.
The word of the day, toggle.
Boggle.
Ooh, that's 12
Oh,
points.
I need to stop. Let me get off the stop share.
Window. Here we go. So this is what it looked like last year in general terms. Really trying to benefit the council so we don't lose the aspects that we've discussed. In our first year of budget for both Councilwoman Workala and I, and I'll speak for myself on this, but in that first year it was like, okay, well, there was a lot of discussion. How did we ensure that those changes and requests get captured? I'm kind of keeping a change log here, so every so often if we're looking at making suggested changes, I'd like to capture those things, assign them some kind of date, including the status and the resolution of what aspects were changed. In previous, we looked at what department it might have an effect on, what the suggested change was, if there was a priority set to that, if the resolution was to set it off for a year, or in particular aspects of increase or decrease suggestions. I just want to make sure that for the council's edification that we capture these things, so we're not losing sight of what our requests are.
Tiffany, is the police department's request for shift differential reflected in our current?
Yeah, that's right here, actually. Approved shifter. Yeah.
Because I would like to see that number changed, increased.
I'm just gonna say this. Back in like 2009, we had a council who I love dearly. But they came to us with like, hey, go give us a 1.5%, go give us this. And we had like 20 spreadsheets. So just please, I ask you please not to have us make tons of spreadsheets because it's only going to get more confusing, I believe. So we can plug those two different numbers side by side if maybe that helps to know kind of where Councilman Sanders sits on a little bit additional in that. But I'd hate to get into multiple scenarios.
I do as well. I'm not necessarily
Yeah.
saying anything other than I think the
To look at it.
the proposal from the department's too modest.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree.
That I would like to see that change. So, and the radar of things to look at for change, if you're tracking that, Councilman Harjo,
Yep.
That's first on the list today.
Okay.
Yep. Agreed. I agree with the sentiment.
The amount we can discuss at our leisure, but
Yeah.
I think it is on several different levels for the type of work involved and the people we're asking to do it. It makes perfectly good sense.
Agreed.
We made note. We'll get it on there for everyone to see.
Chief Dudley, I have a question on the, you said it was just a flat rate dollar for the night differential, not a percentage?
Yes.
Okay. And did you do a comparison between flat rate versus the percentage? I know in our night differential, we use a percentage, so I was just curious.
I don't have that exact number for you, but on average, it was significantly higher at a percentage rate.
Okay.
So that's why I came in asking for just the flat amount.
So that's your recommendation then for just a flat rate, not a percentage?
Correct, and that's easiest, in speaking with Daniel, it's the easiest way for us to also calculate that with Cassell and our 28-day time periods. It's easiest to just say, hey, this month they worked 168 hours, so you add on, we'll say that month it would be an additional $168. If it was $2, then it would be twice that.
When we do that too, I don't know how this would be approached, but I would imagine you'd also structure it for not only the shift differential, but if that if that time was worked in overtime status, that would also be part of the calculation as well.
We discussed that, right? So yeah, we kind of were looking at it from the same perspective of incentive or certificate pay, like it's separate on its own rate. So that would be the easiest way for us to track it and pay it. So I think you're saying like it would be, are you implying like at time and a half, or what do you mean?
If the hour that's being, yeah, if we're paying a shift differential, do you also want it to extend to overtime? If you're not, that's, an hour regardless of when it's worked, but you've got officers that I'm sure are putting in some overtime.
Correct.
And if they have the expectation that a shift differential is a part of their salary, they would expect reasonably that that would be increased as well because the overtime carries a different salary rate. So we need to just take a look at, as part of our discussion, is it appropriate to have this rate stand alone when it comes to overtime?
That's fair.
Because I'll tell you, my opinion is it should be adjusted when it's overtime, because that's an additional draw the officers having to put on for work they would not ordinarily be scheduled for in the first place. If that falls on a shift differential, then that differential should reflect that additional effort.
I will get with Daniel and see if we can work that out.
See what happens when you walk up here and sit down?
No, it's good.
So the direction from the council is we currently have in front of you a worksheet with those requests. Two different worksheets
For,
the salary.
I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we can just total the shift differential at the $2 on the same sheet. Like we can come across and go $2 and then we can plug some overtime number in. So it's all in one document, but it'll show the salary change across the bottom in multiple cells. No, it's not going to show it on there.
Yeah.
So I guess, well, and we have to work through the other. So there's going to be the uncertainty of library position, airport,
golf.
police, and golf. So those 4 budgets will not have salaries coming back to you on Monday unless we've ironed that out between today and tomorrow, if that makes sense. You good with that, Councilman McCarthy? For now.
Just because of the uncertainty of the positions.
Of what you could do the math, essentially, you're just gonna have to go between the 2 spreadsheets to get you what the total budget dollar with staffing salaries would be.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
In your scenarios, because those 4 are the anomalies at this point in salaries.
No, but I guess for me, it's just, I'd like to see the actual number of what we're talking about with the 5% increase on that, those departments, so.
Yeah, you can get it. We're just gonna have to look at 2 sheets. So. All right, are there any more questions on salaries? No? All right. Thanks, Chief Dudley. Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you.
Okay, so it does say that at 10:30 we'd have a break, but we're ahead of schedule. So we're just gonna jump into the grant stuff right now. Alexa, who I'm gonna make her come up, but she's told me she doesn't want to be the speaker.
Thank you.
Well,
So, are we still gonna take a break at 10:30?
Yeah.
Is that the plan?
Yeah. I don't think this will take too long, and then I'll let you leave for a minute and like go on. These children, I know.
He's like, what are you doing?
Yep. Okay, oh, do you have this? Okay, so, I tasked Alexa to, provide you guys the details of what current existing grants we have in this current operating budget of fiscal year 26 that is going to close out or we're going to carry forward, as well as what we'll request for in FY 27. So right now, the grant that is right now existing is the DSIP grant, which is the Well 17 grant, and we've submitted all documents for final closure. We're just waiting for the final documents to come back from the Department of Defense in that. So, and then she put together this spreadsheet which shows you on the one side the geo lines associated to the grant fund and the department that it will be within into the next budget cycle. So we'll stand for any questions that may be. Sometimes the department head has more information than we do on our end, but I've kind of been around a while, so I might be able to answer some of them.
Tiffany?
Yeah.
I noticed that City Hall admin budget is quite different from last year, almost like, what is it? About a $9 million difference between last year's budget and this year's budget. Is it because there is less grants and is that why? Is that reflected?
Yeah, well, you don't have any of the Railroad Park project. The pool, the Idaho co-op money, that Idaho Power money, that's in carryover, right? It's projected to go to carryover fund, so it's not identified in there. So there's things like that.
Okay.
Alexa?
Yeah.
Under Police Bureau of Justice Assistance, that's the bulletproof vest
Yes.
program. Okay. And we're showing a carry forward for that?
Yeah, so they have a current grant with that,
Yeah.
and they haven't expended all the funds yet, and then they'll have next year's.
Okay. I asked this at the council meeting the other night. That lagoon project, that $500,000 we used cash before, but is that in-kind eligible?
No, I don't believe it is.
Okay. And we expect an award notice, if we get one, would be in around October, around fiscal
September or
year.
October. Councilman Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to pick your brain. Why did you ask if it was in-kind available? Just curious.
Well, at one point, the council has had conversations around the amount of work the city would be able to do to get that lagoon in its, put that lagoon online, build it ourselves. To the extent that we would be investing our time and energy in doing that, if the grant allowed for in-kind with proper documentation, that would keep us from having to use cash to do that. The key behind that, of course, is the proper documentation, but if we're building a wall for a lagoon and we're lining it ourselves, there's significant man-hours involved, and that's where the real value of in-kind match comes in, because then you can get the value of the labor you put into the project against, to use as match against the award from sponsor.
And you said but that's not eligible in this one.
So a prime example of Councilman Sanders' scenario, Councilman Workla, is the swimming pool, the land and water conservation grant that allows for either cash or in-kind match, which is our work. And so not in this budget, but forecast, like the application process is now for land and water conservation. And you guys may have seen, we're doing some public outreach for our tennis court rehab. It has to be outdoor rec, only outdoor rec. And so we're going to try to apply for that for the Parks Department, but we wouldn't have to budget those funds until FY28 because it wouldn't be awarded until that grant cycle if we get them. And we won't even know whether we, and I'm jumping ahead, but you won't even know if you'll be awarded that until late 2027 anyways. But for instance, the in-kind work would be your park staff could demo the courts, and that value that you've done would be your part of in-kind to the grant. So. Are there any more questions on the grants? Again, the green sheets will always come to you for approval within the meeting. We're trying our best to capture the application too, so you guys know what those requirements are as we get them.
In the airport FAA grant, that's for the runway rebuild.
Depending on the CIP, like
Yeah.
as that's defined in the years ahead of us, there's been the runway stuff, the lights, the potential for ASOS if a couple years out. Those are like kind of we apply for the funding by project.
So yeah, so the FAA grant opportunity it's defined through the capital outlay project of the airport and the projects that have been scoped out over the 10-year plan.
And that's what we work with JUB to deliver that concept of what CIP actions, the airport community and the city desire, and then set those out on the CIP schedule.
In this current year, we have done some rehab on the, what am I going to say? Taxi. I was going to say runway, but that's not right. It's a different way. Yeah. So we have done, if that's your question, was what we're doing currently. That's some of those current in our operating budget this year are for that taxiway.
Alexa, just so you guys can take a look, when we get the green sheets, those are very helpful, but being able to annotate on them for me, I'm always going to wind up asking,
Okay.
is the match, does it have to be hard cash?
Okay.
Or is it in kind? And the expected date of announcement for award. Because council, what I'm thinking is that right now, I want to make sure as we go through this, looking at the sheet we've been provided, that we are holding back some $560,800, because that would be our commitment should we actually land the grants we've applied for. So we have to make sure we have that money sitting back in reserve specifically for that. And we also need to be cognizant that if we are not selected for award, that money gets appropriately reallocated so that it is available to us.
Which it does reflect that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the identified GL line is where those funds sit.
And it helps explain later on if all of a sudden one line looks like it hasn't been spending out like it's supposed to, maybe we didn't get the grant for it. It was matched up to it.
Yeah. So a prime example of kind of that scenario is if you go towards the bottom, that recreation 200,000 where it talks about a donation. That's so that line right there is if you don't even bring in $50, nothing should spend out of that line because you don't have cash in the line.
Mhm.
You have to bring it in to spend it out.
What does that mean though? Donation outside source. What? Why is it so big?
So the rec department specifically runs, like, that's to help kind of, when we get to rec, they're going to talk about a rec facility because of the potential of losing the activity center through St. Luke's, that partnership. And so they're going to go out and seek some outside funding source to help kind of get that project going off the ground. So if you end up with a donor that wants to give you, for instance, I could tell you the fitness court that's built over off McMurtry and Third, that was built solely off donations. Not like in-kind labor came from the city. The rest of it was all off donations of people. But that's what that 200 is. So it'll be spent. The CHIF funds that come in through St. Luke's, those are all just donation into programming. So we have to identify those as an outsource into the department's function. If that makes sense.
So not to try and get ahead of ourselves,
Yeah.
that just going through these grants and the contribution amount, just trying to see how it kind of pairs up with previous years and that. Since you brought up the donation outside for the rec, is that, I guess, the idea then for 200,000 for donation outsource, but that's why we have contributions for facility plan at 200,000?
Yes.
Okay,
You have to have the revenue in and the expenditure out.
gotcha.
If we just put a revenue line in and we get the 200,000, let's say, like somebody just dropped us money,
You have to
and we don't have the
budget.
expenditure, then we can't spend any of that money.
Right.
Which if you look in the parks department, which I know you all have, they have an insurance claim. About 2.5 years ago, a windstorm came through and destroyed lights at Optimus Park. By the time we went through the claim with the insurance, we'd been through a budget cycle. And so he got the funds in this operating year. However, it wasn't allocated in a line to expend. So he's carrying them over into this next request cycle to spend them to fix the lights, if that makes sense, because he didn't have an expenditure line. I'm jumping all around. I'm sorry.
No,
So
you're fine.
hope everyone's tracking me.
That's why we have 3 days.
Yeah, sorry. But hopefully it answers questions that you guys have maybe already red flagged along the way. So. Okay. Good. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So the next up is Hank. Do you want to run real fast? We'll do a break for a sec.
Hank, well, I guess, how long will we be, right?
Magic April says.
Do you guys mind if we take a break now instead of 10:30? I messed up with a kid earlier. He's at tennis lessons without his racket because I have it.
Oh, no.
So
If council's okay with during the break, the people in the afternoon don't need to sit through that. So
okay.
please, guys, probably all. Your turn comes up.
Councilwoman Workla,
Yes.
what length of break would you
I
prefer?
just have to run it over to him and get it done. So
If she doesn't speed, she'll be gone less than 15 minutes.
If I don't,
Okay.
where's the?
Yeah.
Council, let's move to recess until 10:30.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna mess with the
Yeah,
things.
just
so
leave it.
we're all still
Don't touch it.
live.
And that way we have a little bit of buffer. So we don't have any accidents. Thank you so very much. Yeah, if it's would you do me
I never sat in the back.
Yeah, you can.
Absolutely.
sometimes
Yeah.
I like to dig through those to
It
see
may
what the
be- What's weird is see that I've already turned it off twice.
CDFA is there.
So like
And
I've
see
already
where folks
turned
have
it
made
off.
mistakes.
Okay, so it looks like it is.
So mute, see, but watch.
And that way, well, I did it for the couple programs I'm in because
It does it a lot.
Huh.
yes.
So when I start the meeting, I almost every time do that, and it'll go red, and then it will go green somewhere in it, and I don't track it.
Documented how
Is that something that you have noticed
stayed at one point took what was
started after like
Mm,
the 2 weeks ago, 1
no,
month ago?
it's done it quite a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Paula.
All right. Well, Paula.
but that's a different war story. That's done over beer.
Welcome to Teams.
So
I know, right?
yeah, definitely if you wouldn't mind program.
Okay.
And that way I can go look it up on my own and not bother you with questions about it.
Yep. All right. Thanks.
I think, I think the city has been very this here. I think we're not getting the value of our in-kind when we can get it.
Recess.
So I want to make sure that we're dealing with somebody else giving us money.
The memory card
Have
from
to
what?
pick up the account.
Oh.
I do for major programs, especially if they're involved. If we pull the programs, video audits up and see what they
You're safe
found.
with me, I promise.
Pick a battery.
Yeah. You're completely safe, I promise.
I know that writing grants is processing and stuff, and you're doing, did that. My last working job at the state was with
Amber
IDLC.
said she can't
I
hear
did other grants.
you.
Stuff like the bullet.
Because we're not
Yes.
catching you.
Good. It's good.
I track.
Hey, Paula. Are you first? I have a question.
Thank you.
I'm no good at pivoting.
I actually looked it up. It's like your center of balance and your brain clicks a little bit more your knee. So it,
Oh, really?
sometimes I just like lean back into a wall and grab my pants.
That's why teaching new recruits how to do an about face is probably the funniest thing you'll ever see.
Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah. Do what here? And, okay.
Are you surprised we're ahead of schedule?
No, not really. Like, I just,
Well-
I over worry about it, and then like I'm trying to set the time for it. Like, I don't know. What makes sense to me?
Well, I think the expectation that put out in front of us, we can go back and rehash it and do it. We sit down after we've seen it all. Okay, let's go click this off.
Yeah.
Piece by piece.
Yeah, I think, like, I always try to put myself in your guys' situation of, okay, like, if the department had gave it, you might be going like, what the heck does that mean? Because I've done that as a staff member with them. And then I hear that, okay, that makes sense. Move on from that.
Yeah, and how the city has experienced these changes can look different when you've got folks coming in like me that have worked federal and state programs, and they look at things a bit different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So getting the reference of what lens we need to look through for here
Yes.
is a big piece for me. And then I can look at it and go, okay, it's not about you, it's about this. Yes, I said that. Absolutely. I was hoping you would ask.
Hank, I've been meaning to ask you, did we get that, the fence over there on? No, please.
It's going good, yeah?
Yeah, great.
Do you want your worksheet?
I printed last thing you sent me. Got it.
Okay. Stay here. In case something weird happens.
Absolutely.
I'm like, oh. Like, what the? What'd you do to me, Paula?
Yeah. Do you want to share?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, and I was very excited for it. Yeah, we said
They last long time. I was gonna say, you must be preparing for a long meeting.
I can get it though. Oh, wow, yeah, I should have asked for repairs. Wow, sounds like it.
he's a little more forgiving with the broken kneecap. Or you could go get snacks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Want a licorice?
no.
I'd ask for a pair of scissors, but you probably don't have any
I can grab you some so you have a nice
within the
big
room.
cut.
Well, I've almost got it open.
Well, let me get you some so you can cut it better.
I know, but I want to make it so noisy when I get into it.
do a clip.
You want?
No, no, I'm not a Sorry. Ben and I are doing
Me do for your turn.
when teens first came out. We were like 5 minutes for the interview and I protein bars. And I don't know, those rattle a lot. And I'm not even paying attention to her. She's getting out of the phone, blah, blah, blah. And I look up at her and she's like, sorry, I'm going to put that away now. I'm gonna have Shasta on deck when we give her a call.
Let's just finish today.
What's that?
Let's just finish today.
I do.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Get waved. This one's good. This one's fine. This is.
Hey, Brendan.
Oh, yeah.
Resolution.
It's cold in the
sitting in here in shorts.
Expect a lot more hot air.
Maybe that's it. Whew. For sure. For sure. But you guys are in shorts and we're like bundled up in here.
Thank God for Sue, she gave me a jacket.
I'm just trying to get in what I can, because I've seen the forecast for the weekend that it's not.
No, it's not pretty at all. Sorry.
And I was my wife and I are hopeful to be hosting a retirement party, friends of ours on Saturday evening. Weather just went from being high winds to rain and thunderstorms.
Nice.
I gotta clean out my sheets to hide everything.
Yeah.
Party in the garage.
Yeah.
Plan B.
That's what happened to me. We had a birthday party for my daughter.
No way.
And
She's a year old already?
yeah,
Possible.
it's crazy.
Wow.
But we had a birthday party for my daughter, and it was like, oh, it's gonna be nice and beautiful, and then day of rain.
Oh. Huh. That was last weekend? Because you guys got rain, and we got just enough to mess up people's cars.
Oh no, we got downpour.
Yeah, we didn't get any of it.
Oh, it was a lot.
Yeah, so.
Let you days projected the rain is
Oh, man.
Okay. Close.
Hank, are you ready? Good answer.
How long has that been up there?
I don't know, a while.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was there until Councilman Sanders went, we're good. And I'm like, what are you? There's a clock up there.
You know I put it there because I had to stand on a chair to stick it up there, so it's my height. If it was anyone else's height, they'd be a little lower.
Sanders, what are you talking about?
Yes. What are you looking at back there?
Well, they're in a pile on my, like, a little cubby, because we were trying to figure out a way to put them up, like, collectively. So it's not like, it's got a matting behind it and the pictures. So it was like, how can we pick it so it, like, stays consistent over the years? So eventually we'll get them back up.
Did you get a ride with
Yeah.
UPS?
But, yeah, just.
Thank you guys. I'm sorry about that.
We did Councilman Pedro.
There's Councilman.
He was just talking to Tim, so.
She's here. Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he went to.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. We sat on there. That's crazy. Yeah, we actually found we were going back doing research, trying to find like kind of when we went from a village to a municipality, like who represented us and kind of the things that hot topic items. Well, we ended up picking up a mayor along the way researching. Like we only thought we had like 15-ish mayors, and we actually have 16 because we had a stint where someone fell off, and we picked up a new one along the way. But there's no real record of him. It's been a lot of fun doing some research on it, and then finding out like the one of them was to like you take like the water fountain. Like there was an uproar over paving of a roadway. Like they didn't want it to be paved. But like the village came forward, like oh yeah, yeah. It's kind of fun to see all the contentious stuff that like gets brought up through history, and you're like, oh, that's kind of fun. So. Oh, is it Alzola? We've actually pulled stuff out of the museum to read stuff. So we've tried to do summaries of all of the mayors and kind kind of their counsel and what they were able to do and accomplish in their terms. So that's kind of one of the things that have delayed it, is how do you provide like this timeline of and how we got to where we are today and how do we keep it going. So it's been fun.
Question for you.
Yes.
Anticipation of it going to be today. Does that mean on Thursday that 5:15 kind of like still plan on doing that and then going into Monday?
We'll probably go to the conclusion is just for us to like make any final notes at the end of today.
Do you want to do that for the- Yeah, I have a shift bid tomorrow.
No, you should be.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Councilman Sanders, I know we haven't started yet, but since the mics are still rolling, if Hank goes faster than we expect, can we push police and animal up while they're here? And then if we still have time, can we just plug admin in? Or sanitation, one of those kind of, because like I don't want to call fire, you know what I mean? Like if we have to kind of play around a little bit. Does that work with everybody?
Tiffany, my thought is we push right up to a lunch break and make the lunch break time certain.
Okay.
So everybody has planning around that, and as much as we can get done up to that point, even if we have to suspend in the middle of a presentation because we've hit that point, I'm willing to do that.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then it won't be mine anymore because the mayor probably will be back by then.
Well, I'm having fun right now, so. And I did request that all the the departments be here a half hour prior to their allotted time. So just so you guys are aware.
Okay.
Well, we figure if they don't make it by the time they're due, we'll just do it without them and they can figure out how we did it.
Why Hank never left his chair. He was afraid.
Members of the council, let's resume in session. Next presenter / victim, please.
Hank. Extra.
Remind everybody, the clock is still rolling. We are still being recorded.
All right. Council, you should have community development up in front of you. Would you like Hank to go through it? Would you guys just like to ask your questions? What kind of format do you want?
Hank?
Yes, ma'am.
So on your second page, underneath planning and zoning expenses, 6,200, it says increase to 7 members on P&Z board. But we only have 6, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we only have 6. So you know where I'm going with this, yes. So I emailed Brenda some questions here, and then I'll just kind of recap our conversation for the rest of the council so they know what I was asking. So I said I would like to see P&Z Impact Fee Committee get a raise for the work they do, especially with the added impact fee duties. I am not sure how much the increase would be, as I would want the other thoughts of the council members here. You're so kind to do a breakdown for me. So you did some research on it, and you said over the years, so first you said below is what they have been budgeted for 24 meetings, twice a month. And then my question to that was, well, they only meet once a month, but you're still budgeted. You came back and said they're still budgeted for twice a month because of like special meetings that may occur.
Councilwoman Wicklow, that is correct.
Okay. And then, so like you went back to 2014, they were receiving $40 an hour. Is that what I think I see here?
Yeah, $40 a meeting.
Or I mean, sorry, an hour, a meeting. And then 2022, it was $60 a meeting. And then in 2026, we could do a proposal of, you gave me 2 options here with $80 a meeting or $100 a meeting times 7. Because is there a potential that we may get another body? Is that why we're making that buffer there?
Councilwoman Workler, that is my assumption, based on when we were switching from planning, back to planning and zoning. That was the agreement that we would have 2 additional bodies to that board. So my assumption is we will be seeking that next.
Well, it's always good to have the buffer
Yes.
just in case, right? That does happen because there is a allotment for that extra person. So council, Brenda said if we did $80 times 7 people over 24 meetings a year, that's 13,440. If we did $100 per meeting times 7 people for the 24 meetings a year, that's 16,800. And I just want to know what your thoughts are on that.
Sorry, Councilwoman Workler.
So at $100 an hour for 7 members for 24
Per meeting.
Per meeting.
Oh my gosh,
It's all right.
we knew what you meant.
Sorry, they only work an hour. Just kidding. No per meeting.
So, and the other thing is we're going to have to go to a 7-member board because you could end up with 6 members and a tie.
Okay,
So you have to get to 7.
gotcha. Is 16,800. I'm leaning towards the 100 per meeting. Reason being is because when I just looked at I mean, just seeing how much research that they have to put into this, and then looking at their last packet where they had to go through all that CIP stuff and everything, and that's a lot. That is a lot. And so now that they're combined together, I think that would be deserving, if not more. So I just want to see what you guys think.
Councilwoman Workla, that being said, from the revenue side, do we have a concept of where we would pay that out of, or do we need to account for generating more revenue
What do you think,
to
Brenda?
cover that?
So in the past, I think that's just fallen out of general funds to pay for the planning and zoning line. I assume that's where their revenues are coming from with regards to that.
Also, we're not into the situation where budgets are balanced and now you're needing to take from someone to get to that. We're not in that situation. You do have
Surplus.
surplus, a little pot of money right now to work with. And when I bring those expense revenue worksheets, you'll be able to see that total. So you're not into, I got to cut from this budget to make this balance. You're not there yet.
Agreed, and I don't know, I think my wording there might have been a little off. Currently, if we're collecting like P&Z application fees, development services fees from developers coming, do we anticipate that we would want to then shift that cost to cover these costs so we're not having to dip into surplus all the time? Because there might be a point in the future where we don't have a surplus in this sense. So, like, if we're going to have growth pay for growth and the application process and all of their appropriate fees.
The department pay for its own, or staying within its own budget. Yes, I like that. Yeah.
Is that something that you guys would entertain?
Councilman Harjo, is your, if I'm understanding you correctly, is what you're saying to increase our fees within our applications to help cover the costs?
I guess my question is, do you think that at any point that becomes an appropriate measure?
Councilman Harjo, it's probably been a long time coming. The fees have been the same for many years and probably should be adjusted and relooked at to be increased those application costs.
Okay. I'm not opposed to compensating them in an appropriate manner. I'm just trying to like look for the right now and as well into the future of how we might capture those.
No, I like it that,
expenditures.
yes, of the idea of it staying within its own department budget. So, and how long has it been, you think, since those fees have been looked at?
A long time.
A very long time. I've been back there for 10 years in the planning department. Most of that is admin. And those costs have been that as
Okay.
long as I can
So
recall.
maybe, Linda, if we can look at what that would be to increase those costs to offset this increase in wages for this committee. So that's hard to determine.
Yeah, just for clarity on like fees, right? Like they have to pay for what the cost is bared upon the municipality. So,
Gotcha.
but that this is part of that cost, right? And then their time to examine and those kind of things. So, in fairness, we can bring back the fees back to just a general meeting and look at them and get them in front of you guys to recommend an increase in them. Like that's
Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys want, we can bring those. They're done by resolution. So again, it could entertain a public hearing. It may not. Right?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks. That's all I had for the king.
Is the council's then, do you guys want to increase that? Because the research on the fee schedule is going to be outside this budget window.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So do you want to increase it to the 16,800? And then at least you would have that in there. And if you determine
In the
we only want to do
anticipation.
$75 per meeting, you would at least have the 16,800. Is that what we're doing?
Correct me. Is how they're set to be paid? Is that by resolution or by ordinance?
I'd have to double check. I feel like it's within the ordinance itself.
One sec, I'll take a look.
Yeah, and it may not be, but just some of the housekeeping on our end is if they're going to be compensated more, or like you're wishing, we would have to bring an ordinance before you to amend it and get it for. So there is some times that this will be outside of it, but like Paula said, you could put it in here if you guys so wish to see it in there, and then it may never change. Just now you have an excess, in a sense, in that budget line.
Yes, I would like to see it at 100 per meeting.
It is in ordinance,
Yeah, so that was
2-1-3 subsection D.
3D. Thank you.
Yes, I would.
Just so there's no confusion. Like, oh my
Okay.
goodness.
All right, and then we'll get before you the ordinance and resolution, and you guys can have discussion in an upcoming meeting regarding those that pertain to planning and zoning. Does that work for you guys?
And that's with regards to application fees.
We'll just have to look at all the fees.
Yeah.
When you,
Oh, please go ahead, Councilman.
when you get to that point, let's go ahead and make it comprehensive. If we have to spike those fees, let's make sure we've got the justification behind it.
Well, it sounds the body wants to go with that. I guess I'll just kind of voice on this is that I wouldn't like to see the increase, and for the fact of because we did have members that were going to be on the DIFAC with that were voluntary. So again, I know that's kind of what sounds like the body's going towards, but I guess I'm just going to voice that I wouldn't be in favor of that, just because, again, of the history on that and what the cost was. And yeah, so I'll just say
Okay,
that.
you can have your respectable opinion.
So, council, just to kind of shed light on that a little bit is, I agree. You need volunteerism is super nice, right? But it's hard to find people that want to sit in these positions, and I do believe a little bit of monetary value for what they do have to read and make decisions, right? Like they're kind of grassroots of what you guys end up doing and approving. So I think valuing them is very important as well. And I don't think you're saying
No,
not,
and that's not
yeah,
what, but I'm saying that we're already going to a $60 because we originally, when we had the DIFAC as separate, it was a voluntary thing. So
Yeah.
But they're
to go
taking on
from a
PNZ as well, though.
to go from a $60 to $100, that's why I'm saying I was already going, we were already having an increase. Let's stick with it.
Well, the individuals that were sitting on PNZ were what I heard from like Topher. He was just like, we're not asking for an increase. So again, this is just coming from what I see that comes across their table, and the value that, I mean, money is the biggest compliment for people in the work they do. So
Well,
That,
I agree because like, and Brenda could probably tell you, like, some of the people we find to do it, we're like, well, what's the compensation? Welcome to free, and they're like, no thanks. Like, I don't want to read all that. You know, like it's a lot. So
No, and it is, but
Yeah.
again, you have individuals and,
Yeah.
you know, I was on that board for a while, and so I understand that it's
Fair.
voluntary, and we had 5, even 6 individuals who are willing to do it voluntary. So, again, I understand the sentiment, but it's one of those of, we're already at an increase currently, so that's why
well, it's
I was
pretty-
okay with what we're at,
Gotcha.
proposed in the budget versus going to the $80 or the 100. So,
But it's an increase for impact fee, but it's not an increase for the people who are on P&Z for so long, right? So now you're putting two different entities together at added duties. And so that's where I feel like the pay increase should happen. And again, it's not a small group. You're not looking at 130 employees increase, right? And so, and then plus when you look like the last increase was 2022. Before that was 2014. So I just feel like it's due.
Council, just for reflection, they're projected numbers. So during your discussion debate on if you want to make it $100 per meeting in the future, and it's determined no, what is left in that fund will carry forward to the 27, 28. So you're not losing it in any way. It'll just push to the next year.
And most likely it will be carried forward because they're not going to have the 24
All
meetings,
of those meetings,
right?
correct.
You just have to plug that in per the ordinance. that
Correct,
says
and
that.
it's, yes, and it's very possible they could meet that many times. I mean, we're coming up, hopefully, you know, starting to look at the comp plan. There'll be more special meetings with the impact fee advisory committees, not just, you know, just of our own impact fees, but also with the county. So there could be potentially, you know, more meetings. We know that there's going to be 6 more meetings due to the intergovernmental agreement. So it won't just be a once a month meeting, so they'll have that additional 6 meetings. Hopefully we can get those scheduled for the same day as planning and zoning, but I would guess not. We, you know, we haven't got to that conversation yet as to when the dates will be. So, you know, there could be, you know, 18 meetings for sure, and then any special meetings. And so, you know, that 24 meeting date or schedule is gives us just a little bit of a buffer.
Would you do me a favor and talk a bit about the 5600 budget line, meeting, travel, and dues?
Yes, sir. That's our class and certificates. Anytime anybody goes out of town, maintaining CUs, things like that, it all falls under that, as well as just dues to ICC in general. They have a yearly thing that you have to pay them. You know what I mean? There's a few different things. I think plan and zoning also has a few things they have to maintain.
So you were well under budget last year on that budget line.
Yes, sir.
Where are you right now this year?
I could tell you it.
I appreciate it.
I'm prepared for you, Hank.
One of our guys just come back from
Oh,
class and turned in
1416.
receipts, so that number will be lower after that.
5600.
560, there it is, okay.
So as of May 30th expenditure report, year-to-date expenditure on the line is $8,900.
So there's probably about 2,000 or more going to be out of that, because one of our guys just came back and turned in receipts from his class.
So
Okay.
then he's got about 11,000 or about 8,000 left in the line for the remainder of the year.
So are you anticipating that to be about the same amount of work you'll be having in this line for the upcoming year? You got more folks with certs coming up?
I would like to keep it the same. I really try to push my guys into getting more certifications and more training. You know what I mean? So if something pops up, I like to have the money available for them to go do those trips.
Okay, and is that training done within the state?
No, not. It can be. Some of it is. A lot of it will be in Colorado. They have to travel to where the classes are being held. It could be Las Vegas,
Okay.
California, wherever. Yes, sir.
That's what I was curious about, is usually when expense lines like this go up, it's because it requires travel out of the immediate area.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
And Hank, also other departments itemize why. So maybe in the future that would be good to say like because this person has to go to this trip and
Gotcha.
so. especially since it's, significant amount. But.
I will just say from my experience with almost 2 decades in state government, it has been the routine there that when the budgets start getting tight, the first place you go look for ways to cut is that travel line. So it really is a great management practice that you know who's coming up for what and when. So if things get tight and push comes to shove, you got the information you need to put in front of us so that we understand that that's the necessary travel if we ever get to that point. Right now, we're not there, but
Understood.
thank you. Let's take a quick look at the 4100 line. You went over budget last year on professional services.
Hank, would some of that be related to the Marathon Cheese expansion when we, in some of those big aspects where we need to go out for professional services for plan review?
That would go to 4125. That would be third party plan review for those larger projects. I don't recall off the top of my head why that went over last year.
I do not know. I think I have the sheet.
Well, I'll make the quick, when I see red, I'm gonna say, how you doing this year?
Right now we're
right? Because you needed about 40, almost 42 to get through the
so
previous year.
looks like
Now
we
you're
increased-
asking, this year's budget's 57.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 15K increase.
Mm-hmm.
And you're asking for another 20
Mm-hmm.
on top of that. So where are we with this year?
As of May 30th, he has spent $30,889.
And
So-
what do you anticipate to year end?
Any studies?
I know we just allocated some funds between City Hall and our professional services line. I think, do you remember what that was for, Tiffany? That we were going to spend that.
Wasn't it for the impact fee?
I think it was for the impact fees.
We have some comp plan work to
Right,
do
it was
in
a
26,
I
27.
think impact fees for last year, comp plans this year.
But it wasn't gonna take all of your professional service line. It was mostly because admin took majority of it, I think. Memory serves me right. I'd have to go back to the memo. But that memo is provided to council too, so.
Tiffany, what was that number again?
Oh, hang on, I got it on my shooters.
2,880.
Thank you.
Okay, because I have one for June. We're at 32,249 currently.
So that would include the impact fee one, I believe, is in that.
So unexpended, $24,750.
Thank you.
And what are you anticipating here that makes you want another 20,000 on top?
Again, we would like to begin the comp plan reviews, and so we'll need some professional services for that to start that review process. Hopefully that is for some public outreach, perhaps some studies, to start beginning that process.
Okay. Thank you.
Hank, gas, oil, understand, fair. I mean, we've seen the increase. Everyone's paying for, with the gas and that. I guess I'm just kind of curious, the telephone internet, I know it says you went over $919. You're having an increase to cover the cost increase. Can you just kind of give me a little understanding of that?
Yeah, I think the prices went up. I don't believe we added another line to it. It could have.
Cell phones are involved in there.
Yeah.
Cell phones, Azuga's coming out of that, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
was agreed to
I
previously.
just want to make sure I covered the cost. It dropped up another 1,000.
So it's more telephones, not internet like fiber
Yes, sir.
or anything like
Yeah,
that.
it's so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, and council, just also in that line is Some of them have tablets infilled, and those come out of that line.
Okay, perfect.
So
That makes sense.
if you bring in for instance, like Hank mentioned, Cody just got certification. He may now get a tablet issued to him to do inspections in the field that he may not have today assigned to him.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So, you got nothing.
No one just staring at you. And the TV.
Eyes looking at me.
I'm sorry.
Anything else for them, council?
So we had building without salaries, current budget 254, 254,235, and then next year's budget without salaries, we're going to $306,000, 561. With everything updated. I know with the machinery, equipment, the RAV4, we have kind of that blanked out with the resolution that we passed earlier in that. I don't see actuals for prior years. But is that 34,000, is that just a increase from zero, or is it an increase from?
Jeez, he just busted in, like,
You're talking about the 99 line?
Yes, sorry, 99.
Okay, so his intention is to at least purchase a piece. No, you're gonna buy it outright?
Yeah.
So he's gonna pay for it outright then.
Okay.
So it could be less than that,
Okay.
whatever he buys for.
Yep.
And he'll go to Sourcewell
Gotcha.
to do that.
I think there's a question from Councilman Harjo previously, like, could that vehicle go to another department, transfer over there? And I checked with Hank and it's a no. The engine is
Oh,
current one that.
We're lucky it's still moving.
Right. So
Send it to scrap.
We'll get rid of it.
Get a scooter, like a one wheel. Will that work?
bicycle.
There you go.
Hang in there, Hank. Winter's coming.
That's fine.
Back in
They
your
make the big
ladder.
tires for bicycles during the winter.
29ers.
Anything else for Hank and Brenda?
I think that's it from my perspective.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hank. Thanks, Brenda.
Thank you.
Let's move on ahead. Police and Animal Control.
Welcome.
Let you guys have first shot. What's on your mind?
What's on? We're here ready for questions.
Okay.
So for animal control, I just had a star here to clarify for 5,200. Under supplies, it says 3,500 for upgrade equipment as needed, reassigned from GL 9910.
Yes, that's by resolution, those items were moved out of 9,900 and 9,910. So we had to find a line to put those into. So it's just the same equipment upgrade. It's just, instead of it being in 9,910, it's in 52.
500 and
Yes.
5,000. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That was the auditor resolution that
Oh.
came before you all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, does that fit under supplies? Or should there be, because you say it's equipment, is that the appropriate spot for that?
Mayor.
It was the best spot we could do generalized. When we were budgeting, we realized that the 9,910 and the 9,900 were actually pretty convenient, but
Yeah. Can the record reflect the mayor joined us at 10:58? Sorry, before we kept going.
Councilman Worklow, I don't think they have a repairs and maintenance equipment line in animal shelter.
I don't believe they do.
They have building or auto, but I think that's, they put it in supplies.
Additionally, in animal though, council, I would like you to take note of the 8525 line. I provided a memo in that shared folder that talks about merchant services
Mhm.
and the seeking direction on putting merchant services back to the consumer.
It needs to be, in my opinion.
Well, that's your
Agreed.
decisions to make, but that line, if you want to highlight it, and I identified all the lines in the city.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, perfect.
And not to place this part of the conversation strictly within the context
Yeah.
of police and animal services, but like, I would agree merchant services need to go back to the
So,
consumer in that sense across everything.
Everything, yeah.
I just wanted to point out that line in here. So.
Thank you.
Just have a random question. Do you guys buy the kitty food for the little kitty that has the kitty aids that can't find a home? Is that what it goes towards at the animal shelter?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, okay. I was like, why are they buying cat food? Because they don't have. I saw it on the bill run, and I inquired one time about getting a cat, and they're like, well, we have one that has kitty aids, and so you can't have other cats in your house or whatever. And so I was wondering, why do you buying cat food? Because I know they don't take cats, right, at the shelter.
We take
No,
cats.
there's
We
cats.
do. We
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
take cats. Yeah.
What?
I've
When did that start?
gotten one from there.
Yeah.
It's just kind of
Well, they
supply
didn't
and
want to
demand.
give me a cat. God.
Sometimes there's just no cats available in that moment.
Yeah.
But no,
There's
we
always cats available
we- well,
somewhere.
we
Yeah.
we'd go
I
catch them on the
got,
street
I did. I
corner.
got off Highway 30, two of them. But anyway,
Yeah.
okay.
I've
So,
taken them on or
That's
two.
where my cat went.
but okay, so you do take cats?
Yeah, we have.
I
Yeah.
thought it wasn't in there. Never-
No, they do, and you know sometimes some of the food for the animals comes from different sources in terms of like some come from donations, things that have exceeded their commercial shelf life but are still viable for animal consumption, and others have to go out to be purchased.
Okay. I thought that was just like an in-home cat that they had and they didn't. But that's good to know.
No.
All right. We'll keep feeding them, I guess. I have nothing else for animal control.
Control's pretty straightforward.
Help me understand a little bit about 5610. Talks about training from reimbursements. What is that? What's that
Police
flesh out
department.
as?
Yes.
Yeah, police department.
Councilman Sanders, that is simply a contribution. Well, it's considered a pass-through line. It is anytime, a lot of police training we have to pay for in advance. And then, I hate to blame COVID, but ever since COVID, a lot of trainings get canceled, or if they don't fill up, whatnot. So then they reimburse us. So instead of, that's a line simply for the training reimbursements to go into so that we can still utilize it that year versus it going into the general fund. And now we have prepaid for an $800 class and now we've lost availability to those funds. So that line is only spent if money is taken in.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What, I'm sorry, what GL were you guys talking about?
That was 5610.
Page 2.
Um,
Where are we at with 2,500? Line 2,500.
Last I knew it was with legal
The dispatch
and then going to be
agreement?
presented to the commissioners.
So it's the commission. It's with the commissioners. Is that what you're thinking? Is that
I
where
don't.
We're at.
We had agreed on that as the previous council. And I believe it sits with the county commission.
I didn't
currently.
know where it was. Yeah, in the
Super in favor, by the way, of us getting on their agenda and going to ask about that.
Yeah, because
as
when
a
does
side-
it come up? When does the contract expire?
September 30th.
September, yeah.
30th.
So I agree. We need to talk to them. We need to figure this out now.
Agreed.
So
So I would be curious what the
Backup plan was.
and we can't wait till September to have to
Well, there-
implement a backup plan. So we need to get on this now.
There's also been a lot of undefined of what constitutes a non-emergency call, and that has never really been provided to us on this side of the fence. But we do have the contract that the city of Mountain Home has offered back to the county. I think it's a pretty generous offering over a given period of time. I think behoove us to go have a conversation.
Yeah, so you're saying there's an increase, yeah, because what was the original fee that we were paying them? Do you remember, Persia?
It was approximately
Is-
63,000.
And now we're saying that we'll give them 100,000.
100,000.
And they,
I'm sorry, 78,000.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Amy and Chief, do you want to speak on the ILETS portion of some of that increase, right?
Yes. So part of that is we offered them in the contract 90,000 for the actual dispatching services, and then 10,000 to basically prepay for their ILETS usage that they are occurring because of police officer inquiries.
Yeah.
With recent legislative changes, we expect the usage of ILETS to go up more because of losing tags on plates. We're going to be running more plates, which is going to, there's a fee every time we do that, so.
Okay. Does the rest of council agree to get on the county commissioner's agenda? Okay, so we can do that.
Just for information on that, over the past year, we have greatly improved our relationship with the sheriff's office.
Good.
For example, we did all of our Police Week events together. We've pretty much never done anything like that. There's much more back and forth conversation between us, the sheriff, and his command staff. And we won an award for our work together through AIC.
A joint
So,
award that was, last week and a half ago, law enforcement torch run. There have been numerous instances where the departments have worked very, very well together in recent history.
Well, thank you.
I think it bodes well.
Because that's,
Yeah, thank you.
So. Hey, and the new police chief, what was his timeline of coming in?
I believe it's somewhere this fall. I think it's a November tentative.
Does that change your, I'm so sorry.
No,
Does
please.
that change the salary, how that figures? At the,
It's in there.
It's factored.
Just to ask, I know we've talked in the past, but can we talk about 9935? For council's awareness, in case anyone's curious. I know there's a bit of an increase there.
oh, yeah.
Vehicles, 99.
Yeah, so 9935 is our, for requesting another lease purchase. We've brought this before the council before. We're trying to get our fleet up to date. Due to past administration, there's kind of these Dodge Chargers we got, and as well as the Dodge Durangos. The amount of maintenance and breakdowns that we're having on both the Chargers and the Durangos is just, as mentioned in our memo, they're in the shops weekly. We're having incidences where people are at gas stations filling up and their cars won't turn back on. It's become a reliability issue. It also doesn't represent our department well. So what we would like to do is another lease purchase agreement to get our fleet up to date. It's another 6 vehicles you guys approved. Or sorry, it's 8 in total, 6 marked, 2 unmarked. The unmarked are for our investigators, our detectives. The cost on those is significantly cheaper than the marked, but they're still able to do an emergency response. They still have lights, sirens, radios. It's just about half the cost, so that's why we give them their unmarked vehicles. The marked vehicles would be an additional 6 Ford Explorers to get our fleet up to date, to be able to retire out some of those Chargers. That again, were purchased kind of not in a good manner. They're rear-wheel drive. Some of them have water damage. Some of them have been in collisions. Again, when they're not starting and we might be needed somewhere on the other side of town, it's a problem. When it's winter and we have some snow and we need to be to the other side of town in a hurry, rear-wheel drive is a problem. I brought this up before, that, our best ability is availability, and if we can't respond to our calls for service because of our equipment, that's a problem for the community. And then if we don't replace them, we're spending a lot of money on repairs. We have 2 Durangos right now that have probably $3,000 to $4,000 repairs that need done. Those are also wheel-wheel drive, and not only are they wheel-wheel drive, but they were purchased civilian models that were then upfitted to police vehicles, which never should have happened to begin with. We should have purchased police models that are built to be turned into police cars. And those have issues of their own. that we're trying to work through. This also greatly affects our morale. I mean, our officers want to know that they're going to get in the car that works how it's supposed to work and is going to get them to the destination they need to be at. The public also expects that of us. So it's of the utmost priority that we have quality, functioning, dependable vehicles.
Couldn't agree more.
Council, and I'll add on to Chief Dudley's comments. The city's finally into a place where we can do some type of fleet management. We weren't there before. We would get 6 vehicles and run them 200,000 miles, and then like, okay, it's time to replace them. So this gives us that flexibility and planning strategically to say, we've had these police cars for 2 to 3 years, and now, although we're still paying on them, we're starting so that we're like new cars in the middle of that rotation. So it helps the city overall budget planning.
To expand on that, we keep our vehicles on average at a minimum 2 times longer than comparable agencies. I would argue it's probably more than 2 times as long. I would just say a minimum of 2 times as long. So we really do get the most we can out of our vehicles.
And the Chargers were used when they came to us.
The Chargers were already used, and like I said, there was some
potential Florida water damage and
crashes, and when those vehicles were brought to us, all the equipment had pretty much just been torn out. There was literal holes in them. Then once we had them, we didn't do ourselves any favors. Some really old equipment was put in there. I mean, we took literal giant boxes of equipment down to the outfitters and said, hey, can you put this in there? And I don't know if you've ever seen in a police car, it's a lot of wiring, it's a lot of equipment. So to hand them a box of 100 different wires and say, can you do this for us, was asking a lot. And the result in the product is what we have now, which, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm just kind of curious. With everything that's happened, up to this point on that, do you see that there is a mechanism or a way, maybe it's part of that fleet management, that we could avoid that scenario again?
Yeah, so I think it's exactly as Paula spoke on. I mean, the reality is we're probably going to be in lease purchase agreements inevitably. I mean, that's the only way you can keep up on the fleet. And the lease purchase prevents us from spending. I mean, these cars are expensive. They're $80,000+. So to buy 6 at a time, just outright cash, is very expensive. We're also making sure that we're buying vehicles that we know to be dependable. They're brand new. We're using a reliable outfitter. We're getting all the equipment necessary in it brand new. That way we're not dealing with some things that are breaking down mid-cycle, and we're getting the most life out of these vehicles that we can.
Perfect. And that's, again, I'm not trying to put you in a spot. I just want to make sure that, 5-6 years from now, we don't end up in that kind of same position. So if there's some mechanism that you think, or, some process that we can go through that will avoid that situation again, so that we don't have something, similar come up, I think would be great.
And that is the goal with the lease purchase agreements. So we can, again, in a couple of years when it's time, rather than waiting till where it's too late, which is right now it's too late, we're able to cycle those out.
Yeah, perfect.
McCarthy, to add to that, a little bit of history. Part of that was, and I understand the previous chief's intention, he had good intentions. We were still sharing vehicles at the time. So that was a choice that was made at the time, trying to get everyone their own individual take-home vehicles, thinking that it would decrease wear and tear and shuffling of around of vehicles, things like that, morale, recruitment techniques. So it did help us get to that point of the take-home vehicles, but now we're dealing with the aftermath.
Okay.
So we are in a great position
It
to
wasn't
where
forthcoming though, that they weren't all-wheel drive, they weren't in the
No.
the crashes, or you know what I mean?
No.
You would have been more forthcoming, but probably said no.
The airbag
Absolutely.
issues.
Let's go the lease purchase route.
yes.
You know what I mean?
After he left, we were looking for a document, and we found all the Carfax that he never disclosed to anyone. What are they called?
Yeah,
Carfax. Yeah.
Carfax. So, and that's kind of what I'm curious, if we can have a process that it's one of those of, so we don't end up, and I get, we're here because it was, we'll say, a stepping stone, maybe not the best, right?
Very hard lessons learned.
But again, it's one of those, I just want to make sure that we're protecting you all from putting in that same situation, that you're not having correct equipment and that, because again, I 100% agree with you, Chief Utley, that that's, you guys got to have the equipment to do your jobs, so.
So that was regarding 9935, right? So I did have a question on 9920, and I think you mentioned that as well. Are you wanting to do early payoff? Is that what this large increase is?
Yes.
Okay.
We were trying to find a mechanism to help decrease the overall city debt. And if we did that, we saved, I believe, approximately $59,000 in interest.
Okay.
It's a big expenditure this fiscal year, but then it saves us $134,000 annually reoccurring.
The quintessential you could use for the next year's fiscal budget to pay our cars off sooner.
That was what we were hoping to do, if it's even available.
I have no further questions.
Me neither.
I'm great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look at Amy, she's giddy.
I did so much homework again.
You're so great, Amy. You are.
All the papers, you're as bad as me.
Good job,
So
Amy.
prepared, over prepared.
It's just kind of like when the auditors come and you're completely over prepared and you're like,
Yeah.
They didn't ask for anything.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so next on the docket is fire, but he's at 2. So we have Shasta sitting here, or we could take on admin.
Shasta,
You,
let's,
Shasta.
let's get you out of here.
What about me?
No. You're in for the long,
Yeah.
long haul.
Here till Monday.
I love it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Shasta.
I like Shasta.
I know you do.
Thanks, Miss Shasta. I was gonna put that up on the board as well. There's that one.
gonna contact Chief Moore.
I'm gonna shoot him a
I just
text.
did.
Oh,
Gets 4 messages.
Okay, Shasta, you ready?
Yeah. So, I just wanted to share that I was handing out a sheet of just the stats from the last 5 years. I've been director since the end of 2020. And within that time, this has been what our stats have looked like. I've been pleased with the increase of annual visits. I've been pleased with program attendance, circulation, and we've also added some new services. So for instance, we're part of a Links Consortium, which is a group of 11 libraries that collectively work together when it comes to software, when it comes to circulation. We share our collections with each other. And so with that, we're also able to add our collection into the courier system almost 2 years ago. And within that time, there's some data as well. So that's obvious in terms of there isn't a 5-year amount listed just because it is a new service that we just started. Along with that, we also started passport services, and that we started end of or mid December 2024. So we only have a good year's worth of data in essence to go off of. But within that time, you'll note as far as how many bookable hours within 2025 and 2026, how many appointments. You can already see we've already exceeded last year's number. But again, last year's was not a full amount as. But it is projected to grow. And so that's why I brought the passport services expansion and why I wanted to request another full-time to meet the demand. It is projected that Caldwell Library will also start offering passport service, be a passport facility. CUNA was the first one to start up service, and their encouragement to us helped us to get into the process. And right now, this year, we already are at a 17,000 revenue. So we're happy to see that. But
on a really limited schedule of offerings as
yes, yes, we only offer currently right now 3 appointments per day, Monday through Saturday. So there is room for more appointment availability. I will also note that Walmart's passport photo service is now down until October. So we've also been taking walk-ins just to get their passport photo. So with that, I wanted to give you that kind of data to show forth reasoning to plead for another full-time, because you know, if anything, it shows that we are growing, we are adding services, and we are in desperate need of more help.
Shasta, do you have your revenue sheet in front of you?
I can grab it, but that was just for last year's.
Oh, okay. So it shows the 26-27 budget projections for passport. So this year you had revenue of 22,000, and then the projection is 152,800. Wow,
right.
That's great. Is that with the idea in mind that you would have a full-time
correct
person?
Correct.
And
then add more appointment availability.
And so with such a great increase in revenue, would that cover that employee's salary?
That's the idea.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, CUNA actually has revenued so much that they have not only revenued enough to have an addition put onto their building, but they're doing another addition this next year too, because they keep getting revenue for it. And I can't tell you the number of times patrons have told me, I'd rather do it at the library than at the, at the county courthouse.
Advantage Library, he says super efficient.
Good, I'm glad
very
to hear.
efficient, and a lot of folks are traveling in from outside of our community because the availability here is much more.
It's in high demand.
Yeah.
We've had people from Emmett, Nampa, Caldwell come all the way over, and which is why Caldwell was interested. And they actually, their director and staff came over and job shadowed us because they were curious about our process, and that it's fairly new in the state of Idaho. You know, just 2 libraries offer this kind of service, and it's been beneficial from a standpoint of some of these people haven't been in a library for years, and for us to advertise that way, it's been very beneficial.
At the top of on the revenue chart there, you have a number 23,366, 22 cents. It's off to the side. Can you explain that?
It's the 3% capture on property tax. We give that to Shasta, so she's able to provide that to the library board to help build the budget process.
Yeah, and I actually bring all these budget numbers to the library board as early as February, because I have to have them approve the budget before I actually bring it to the council. They've already approved everything.
Shasta, can I ask, because I have a 2026, the staff salary sheet, and then the 2027 request. Do you have currently any current open positions at the library, or are you fully staffed?
We're fully staffed, and that includes our part-time as well.
Timer, okay.
Yep. And since I've been director, I haven't asked for a full-time staff.
So is the ask then to switch one of the part-timers to full-time?
That is correct.
So it's not creating a full-time separate.
Well, I mean, it would be, in essence, I would be asking for the budget means to have a full-time and then be able to open up the part-time position.
Oh, so having a full-time and then opening up the part-time. So it is an additional
Correct.
full-time
An
position.
additional one full-time.
It's not
Correct.
converting a part-time position to a full-time.
Correct.
Correct. No, please let me keep both my part-time. No, but both of my part-time staff have expressed interest in going full-time. But I knew that was a big ask.
Your revenue increase on passports, is that significant? I don't see a problem with giving you another body for that.
And all my staff are trained to be agents. So there's always, the issue of if somebody goes on vacation, there's still coverage so that, that won't lack. And I will also express that there will be times during the year, and I've confirmed this with CUNA Library, that there are waves of passport appointments. So with this year, January, February, and March, we saw a big influx of people needing their passports. But when it came to April and May, it dwindled down, and now it's picking back up again.
Just, I'm just curious. Please help me. I'm wrapping my brain around math on the passport. And it sounds like it's been great success. We're about 16,000 in revenue right now, which I think the budget was 22,000 for budget for revenue for this year.
Yep.
So you had said that currently Monday through Saturday, you're on 3 slots available.
Correct.
Are those hourly slots or half an hour slots?
Yeah, I have designated hourly just because it was a new service and to get my staff into the groove, because there's different scenarios all the time, to have to just double check through our manual just to make sure we're doing it correctly. That also being said, each appointment allows for 3 people to get their appointments done, if that makes sense, if their application done. So even if there is 3 appointments per day, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's only one person getting their passport done. In essence, I mean, we had a couple of weeks ago, we had 6 people in one appointment because it was a family getting their passports done.
Okay. Yeah, because I see that the current is 3 appointments a day, and then the proposed or the projection is 14 appointments a day.
Right.
So I was sitting there trying to do the math. I'm like, well, if they're hourly, are you guys extending hours on the library?
24 hours.
We would in essence have extra staff available for appointments if need be. With CUNA, they've also they've been so efficient because they have dedicated staff just for appointments that their time slot is 15 minutes per person.
And have you seen that increase? Again, it sounds great. I'm just trying to wrap my head from going, we said 22,000 budget for revenue, and now that's a big jump.
It is a big jump. Yes.
So
yeah.
Trying to see, is there, what's this kind of a little bit out there?
After referring with CUNA again, I feel like the need is going to be there. And because it's also not just for travel, I've had people come get their passport just for identification. And like I said, some of them are just renewing, so that number also includes just walk-ins for passport photos.
As well, we kind of have a captive customer base that revolves with base personnel and their associated families that come to town. We've seen where extended families of base affiliated personnel have come in to utilize the service here in Mountain Home, regardless of the fact that they may not even be a resident here, but might be here for a longer term visit, or family of the enlisted themselves needing to to travel while they're getting TDY'd or transfer bases. So
They're having babies too. Those babies
Right.
need passports.
and that will continuously be a revolving customer base in that sense. So
I'm sure this probably seems like a basic question, but the 3 appointments a day, why was it decided just 3 instead of during the year maybe increasing a little bit to kind of show? I mean, again, we're at 16,000 for revenue. We have 3 months of the fiscal year left. You know, if we, sorry, my question is why the 3 days, but I just want to give a little kind of background of, was there any discussion on opening up a little bit more in 3 days? Because again, when I'm seeing 22,000 go over 152, if we were over the 22,000 or project, I would kind of go, you know,
Yeah,
to
that's
me,
fair.
I would see that kind of, that transition of, okay, we can see that we're going to get closer to it, but I'm just,
Sure.
did we limit ourselves? And if we did, why?
We're busy.
Yeah.
Have you seen us? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This was why I wanted to show the stats because I'm sorry. At the end of the day, I'm tired.
Curious is, you know, was it just 3 a day we added it, but how many are actually taking the 3 a day? Are you maxing out 3 a day every day, Monday through Saturday?
No, not every day. However, I will note that we did add more time slots on Saturday. That being said, I only put those appointments in the morning because right now we're in the middle of the summer reading program, and that is I didn't want to bombard staff with too many objectives.
literally comes down to a staffing workload and bandwidth.
It really does, because along with that, with the courier, that has added quite significant workload for my staff. And that is something that they have to do on the daily.
Councilman McCarthy, again, that question was presented to Shasta last year. And so it was the council's decision not to increase the staff last year. It was kind of like prove that the passport will work. And so she was like, well, let me try it with this limited amount of time. And so now that's the same question you're posing back to her.
Right. So coming back to, because the FY27 for a new position, we're looking at $39,000 for salary.
Correct.
And so that's, I guess I just want to pose the question to you, with seeing these numbers, do you feel it would be better to go with a part-timer first and to see the growth more to give you more flexibility? Since we're at that, still not at that 22,000 where the full-time salary is looking at 39,000.
I can see your point. The problem that I've had though is before these part-times, the last time I hired, the last 2 times I hired, they lasted a month. And therefore that training is gone. That time I mean, I'm back to square one in terms of the hiring process. And so that was a big frustration because people want full-time work.
And so and you have part-time people that are wanting full-time work, and
Correct.
so that those that already have the training can easily just bridge over.
Correct. Correct.
And there is that complicated factor of every time you bring on a new staff member, the entire training has to be started over with the feds to deliver this service as well.
Yes.
So having that turnover is not just cumbersome on the we've got short-term, problems with fulfilling part-time work, but the staff time required to uptake the training in additional time every time that there's headcount change. So like enabling the ability to I guess stoke longevity out of a full-time is a big consideration in that too.
So we'll say, Mayor, thank you. Pointing that fringe in there, it actually puts the position at about 55,000.
Right. Right.
So,
And I do recognize that that was a big ask.
so I guess my view on it, I'm wondering, I understand the limitation of staff. You guys do an amazing. My kids enjoy the library. I mean, we use it quite often. And I appreciate you and your staff for everything you do. You guys do amazing work. The projected revenue, I can't wrap my head around it. And so while I understand, thank you, Paula, for bringing up that the previous council said prove that you're going to do it, I think you've shown that we can. I'm kind of leaning more towards not adding a new full-time additional, but looking at maybe one of the part-timers, if we could convert to a full-time position.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
So the sheet that I have right now has your 2 part-timers, and then it also has a full-time specialist.
So you would say just delete one of my part-time?
So it would be to take the 2 part-timers, go down to 1 part-time, and then have
Right.
the 1 full-time position.
And therefore, we're just utilizing the funds for that.
That makes sense. What thoughts on that? Because
Stressed.
that gives you more thing and come back, and we come back and the passport revenue is $50,000, then it makes a stronger argument for, okay, we're seeing the actual growth or the.
And to be fair, I mean, we can change that revenue number if that's too high. Would that change the argument?
I do think it boils back down to staff bandwidth, frankly. The ability for Shasta and her team to be malleable in the need for fulfilling part-time. I mean, there's a reality that full-time staff will be earning vacation, will have sick time, illnesses happen, family emergencies happen. So having that capability, not only for the coverage and bandwidth, to utilize the part-time positions in that role, but to move the individual that might have the experience and some longevity in a part-time position who desires to be a full-time, but having that part-time position not be abandoned when they make that move to the full-time. If that's the way that Shasta wants to shift individuals within the department. But the reality is that there is a need for a full-time additional position because of the programming services, the passport services that are here. The library's taken on a number of new programs, passports included, that generate more need for more staff time. And it comes down to a bottleneck right now in staff time. I don't think eliminating any position or absorbing any position into another, the request for the new position is the actual request, because that's the actual need. And the revenue is already showing to pay for that position. And that was what we agreed to as the previous council, was take this on, see where does it generate revenue. Yes, it does. Okay. And this is where we carry forward now that previous years, that we would be seeing this because of the offset in both the revenue and to offset what Shasta and the staff have taken on for these programming aspects. I am for keeping the full new position and the remaining staff as it sits.
And that being said, I do get people pretty regularly asking if we have some open positions too, all the time. And that is a compliment to me that people want to work there.
Yeah.
Take a look at the revenue page at the bottom, see if we can get that fixed. Show a total of only 225, 300.
Right, your property tax isn't in.
Already asked that question, sir.
Some minds move faster than others. On occasion.
So Shasta, I have, again, with what we're projecting right now, what we're at 16,000, if we make 22,000 by the end of this year, do you feel a full-time position is going to give you an extra $30,000 in revenue?
Yes, sir.
An extra 30,000 or is it extra 152, 800?
Well, the revenue from the, essentially the
That's the
revenue from the
question.
passport is supposed to pay for the full-time position, right? Yeah.
I'm squarely at funding the full-time position.
I am as well.
I think I would like to stick with the suggestion or the thought of one part-time and then converting the other part-time to a full. See another. Data on the revenue.
Any other questions as far as the budget goes? I did want to note, after hearing as far as travel goes, that I did increase the meetings, budgets, and dues because we actually were awarded $25,000 grant from the Association of Rural and Small Libraries. However, that leads into next year's budget because they want me to attend 2 years worth of their annual conferences. And one of those conferences is in Alabama, and the other one I believe is in Wisconsin, I think, this year or next year. And therefore there was need to have budget for that. Because I wanted to earmark the whole 25,000 grant towards, we are partnering with AmeriCorps to continue our partnership for a member to be a host site for them, to provide digital navigation for our patrons.
From Sanders, what would you like? What kind of different points of view here on the position?
This is the first budget I've seen from an amenity that actually projects to pay for itself. I'm willing to give that a test.
Okay.
Appreciate your faith in me and my staff. I want to encourage you to come just take a look at the library and see what's going on. I can tell you right now, Friday, that's a great day to actually come and visit because it's a madhouse. We have so many people in and out the door. My poor staff some days, they're just like, how many people?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Shasta.
Yeah, good job.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do we want to give the 15-ish minutes to Chief Moore, or out of respect, allow him to come back after lunch?
Does Chief Moore want to? Chief Moore wants to push through and present his budget, right, Chief? You could pause in the middle.
She spoke for.
For having missed my scheduled appointment. I'm with the majority and doing this. Have your lunch and stuff is no. Step up there and do that.
Let's just get started, if you guys don't mind, and then we can, sorry, I don't mean to call it the shots, but then we can just pick up where we left off if we don't get through it.
Chief, I'd hate to interrupt you or cut you off in there, so are you okay with that, with Councilwoman Liz?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever works. Did the coppers leave me any money?
Scrape together a few bucks for you.
Mayor, Council, I would prefer not to leave Chief, like, I would rather work through the process and then break for lunch.
Okay.
There is an hour and a half given there,
Yeah, that's good.
which I think we all can eat.
Yeah.
in a pretty reasonable amount of time.
Sounds
But
good.
out of respect, I think he should be able to present the entirety of it.
Thanks, Chief.
You wait for us.
Yeah, I kind of missed out on how everything started here.
It's been a mix.
So I can tell you that with this budget here is it's probably a bit odd here because I'm presenting a budget to an incoming chief and things like that. I do want to assure you that there's been a mindful eye, and I've been instructed to make sure that we presented the budget that was fair for the city, fair for the fire department, and certainly fair for the incoming chief, as best we could. Everything with our budget has been on going back from our comprehensive plan. I can tell you from our 2020, in terms of the different milestones that we set or projected in our 2020 plan. We're on target for everything that are on there. We've accomplished things on there. So a lot of the things that are in this budget are a continuum of things that we've done, because we do have things like the WUI truck and SCBA purchases and things like this that we've had out there in front. So majority of those things are on here. So stand for any questions.
On page 2, is a typo because you have fire department with salary twice. I imagine the first line should be without, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's just
Okay.
a clear, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh.
Scribner's note.
You got it finally. Usually it's me.
Chief, I'm question on the meetings, travels, and dues. It's always nice when you see a decrease, right? Sometimes. I guess I'm just kind of curious.
Mhm.
I had a great discussion with the incoming fire chief,
Mhm.
and I think one of the big things, and I try not to speak for him, but one of the big things I discussed was training and, moving forward in that. So can you kind of just maybe give a little synopsis on why you think the decrease on that, and how are we looking for that, the future?
Okay, great question. I would say that where we're currently at sitting and where we're tracking in terms of stuff we've had and are going to continue to have and get newer firefighters on. The bulk of the fire, and it may change with the incoming chief, I don't know what that is, but the bulk of the training that we do in terms of getting the fire one and things like that through here are things that we're able to do in-house and through our emergent and fire rescue one program that we have. So that's helped us tremendously in terms of certified training that can come through, and we can get that done. That's helped a bunch. Outside training and stuff, I've had a line in there, I think, for $3,000 every year that for bringing in an outside trainer and stuff, and we've not gotten that done. So those are some changes that perhaps may certainly come under his purview, but currently I'm comfortable with what we have, and where it's going to go. I don't see it detrimental to him for a year.
Perfect. So I'm just kind of curious on that. That's one of those things that I want to make sure that we're keeping that standard that I know that you've done. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
The impact fee on any fire development fund on page 3, it said projected permits sold 250. Is that that's how many permits we have in the pipeline? Is that
Councilwoman Markley, you'll see that projection in anyone that gets impact fees.
Is that the number?
Yeah,
250?
projected that also on water availability, 250 homes, building permits, and fiber, 250 homes.
Yeah, because I have that as for fiber, and it was confusing because it said new connect hookup fee. So when I saw that for fiber, I didn't know if that was referring to what's in the pipeline, or if it was referring to that's how many you think you would get for the next LID. So, but it's what's okay.
Throughout. Yeah,
that's what I just want to clarify in my head now before we move on to the other one.
It's standardized to each budget.
Chief, I'm gonna ask you a question that's probably gonna drive for a while, but I'm looking at the 5300 line. You mentioned vendor increases. Are you seeing that on all your gear?
Oh, yes, that's a great question, and it is. Something I should point out on this thing, if it hadn't already been discovered on this thing, on the budget sheets, if you see the red over to the right, that denotes rural participation. So it's not all 60-40 split on everything that we have, but in the uniform line, specifically the 5300, so you know that 40% of that money spent in that line is reimbursed to the city from the rural. So our bunker gear and that type of stuff, and our uniforms and so forth are contributed 40% by the rural of that number.
So your request for 22,000, is that reflective of the difference, or is that the full amount?
That would be the full amount. That's the full amount. We're just reimbursed 40% of that amount in that line spent by the rural. But bunker gear and that type of stuff, everything has gone up. But yes, certainly bunker gear has gone up. We try to do that. I think what we did coming into this thing, because initially at one time we came in and we had, not we, this is prior to me, but I learned from the experience certainly, is that it cost a purchase of a fire truck because they found out that the bunker gear was needed replaced and there hadn't been a good plan for that. So my plan coming in this thing was every year we tried to put into the budget where we replace 3 to 4 sets of bunker gear every year and keep that stuff rotated through, so everybody's in compliance with NFPA standards.
So along that same line, then you've got a request here to finish off payments on the SCBA. Early?
No, actually, the which line are you referring to?
I'm looking down at the
9920.
yeah 9920.
So it's, the
Yes.
price is refurbish engine 10 at the 125, and the SCBA's is the 156,652. If the council's decision was pay the total cost, it would be the 291,305. That's
Okay.
not your total at this side.
Is there any cost savings in interest or anything to pay that off early, or is it just
Regardless.
Yeah.
understood? Thank you.
Yeah, we set that. What that allowed by doing that is that allowed us an opportunity to get the wildland urban interface rig paid for, which is due to land somewhere the third week, I'm hoping, of July. And when that gets there, that'll be paid out of this current budget in the 9920, and then that'll be taken care of, all paid for.
Awesome.
Chief, not to jump back in, but I will say I'm glad to see about moving forward with trying to look for a new fire station on the land in that. I know that's going to be a huge item. I know we've talked in the past on DIFAC and everything about the cost and all that of building, but I'm glad to see that we're actually moving forward with that. I think it's something that, quite frankly, really interested about. We've talked about with the airport and everything and possibilities. We need something on the south side of town, and I think we've kind of seen incidents now that gives more to it. So is there, I'm trying to figure, without the 300 for property, I'm assuming there's already been talks or looking into areas in that for the new station, or is this for the west station, or what?
Yeah, Councilman McCarthy, yes. The answer to that is yes. There has been looking at different things. When Joel was down on his visit here, that's something that we did tend to look at it in more earnest when he gets back down here, and we can go look in more specific, spend more time and that kind of stuff. But he's aware of these things, and it certainly is, we're thinking something that's going to go to service that into town where we're getting that sprawl.
Okay, and my hesitation is I just didn't want to try and name any, specific properties and things, especially with the negotiation. So that's, again, I'm glad to see that we're actually getting something kind of going. I think it's been long overdue, and I'd like to see a west station. So if we're we're moving that direction, I'm all for it. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Chief, thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Thank you.
And we're still on time for lunch.
Yeah.
Inefficiency.
Don't let word get out.
Hey, not that I'm in control here at all, but we'll come back. I've notified Parks and Cemetery will come back after lunch. Recreation has been notified. And then if we're just super productive like we have been all morning, I would ask that we entertain the admin and sanitation before we close out for the day. That way we can have tomorrow morning to be as efficient as possible to tackle golf.
So Tiffany, sorry, we have Parks and Cemetery and Rec, and then you were saying
Of
admin.
the admin and sanitation.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, and then if the afternoon's still free, we'll just keep piling them in. But okay,
None of that.
does that work for you guys?
Don't yawn now.
You better come back after you eat. Okay, are there any questions thus far that we can answer or help? No? Okay. Okay, we'll see everyone after lunch.
Hey, Mel Zone, you're starting to fall asleep over there.
I've seen these 1,000 times, and